My trust was a fortress, built from iron and sealed with a lifetime of devotion. I believed it was indestructible until my own brother forced it open, ripped out everything I'd worked for, and left me staring at the ruins. Do you know what it's like to realize the one person you'd give your life for was the one wielding the sledgehammer? I'm Lucia, 35, a forensic accountant at Sterling and West. Numbers are my world, clear, truthful, unyielding. Every digit tells a story, every ledger reveals a secret. I've spent years untangling corporate deception, but I never imagined I'd be unraveling my own family's treachery. 6 months ago, my world shifted. My mother, Elena, was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the kind that burns through hope like fire through dry grass. I didn't hesitate. I transferred $90,000 from my savings to an account I set up for her medical care. Use it for her treatment, Nico, I told my younger brother over the phone, my voice calm but firm. Whatever she needs. Nico lived an hour from Mom's modest home in Willow Creek, close enough to handle her appointments, her prescriptions, her everything. He was my rock, the boy I'd raised after Dad's heart attack took him when I was 16 and Nico was 10. I funded his community college, bought his first suit for job interviews, even covered the down payment on his condo. He sent me text updates. Mom's trying a new chemo. Docs say it looks good. I trusted him. Why wouldn't I? His messages were my connection to Mom, bridging the 300 miles between us. Last Monday, during our weekly call, Mom's voice was faint, like a thread about to snap. The pain's worse, Lucia. They won't schedule my next treatment until we pay something. My coffee mug slipped, shattering on the floor. Pay what? I asked, my heart pounding. I sent $90,000 for your care. Silence. Then her voice, small and bewildered. Honey, I never saw a penny. The next morning, I stood in Crescent Trust Bank, my heels echoing on the polished marble like warning shots. The security manager, Mr. Carver, handed me a USB drive, his eyes heavy with sympathy. You sure you're ready for this, Miss Rivera? I nodded, my throat tight. The footage was blurry but brutal. March 22, 1:47 p.m. Nico, in a sharp gray suit I didn't recognize, slid a document across the teller's counter. A power of attorney with my forged signature. 20 minutes later, he walked out with a cashier's check for every dollar I'd sent. The bank traced the funds to a new account at Pacific Crest, drained in weeks, funneled into car lots, jewelry stores, and a shady crypto platform that reeked of fraud. That evening, Nico texted our family group chat, urgent meeting at Mom's. 7:00 p.m. her bills are stacking up. Everyone needs to pitch in. I drove 3 hours, my hands clenched on the steering wheel, imagining it was his throat. Mom's living room smelled of chamomile candles and illness. She sat in her worn armchair, her face gaunt, her eyes flickering between us. Nico stood by the sofa, his wife Clara at his side, her new diamond earrings sparkling in the dim light. My sister Sophia sat on a stool, her husband Leo hovering behind her. Aunt Carla and Uncle Ray, who'd driven in from out of town, sat rigidly, their faces etched with worry. Nico spoke first, his voice slick with rehearsed concern. Lucia, you're the hotshot in the city. Mom's buried in debt and you've done nothing. Sophia jumped in, her tone cutting. You swore you'd cover her care. Where's the money? The room hummed with accusations, a web of lies. Clara wiped at tearless eyes. Aunt Carla muttered about my high-flying career. Mom just looked lost, her hands twisting in her lap. I placed my laptop on the coffee table, my movements slow, precise, like a prosecutor preparing to strike. Since we're discussing money, I said, my voice low but steady, let's watch something. Nico's eyes darted to the TV as I connected the HDMI. What's this? He snapped, a tremor in his voice. I smiled, cold as frost. Crescent Trust sends their regards. The footage played. Nico smoothing his tie, handing over the forged document, the teller issuing the check. The room froze, their faces paling like ghosts in the glow. Nice suit, I said, my gaze fixed on Nico. Bought it in March, right? Right after you cashed out Mom's lifeline. Clara's earrings seemed to drag her shoulders down. Sophia's jaw dropped, then snapped shut. I pulled out the transaction records, my voice sharp as a blade. $40,000 to Willow Creek Auto for that shiny SUV outside. $25,000 to a jeweler for Clara's new bling. And $20,000 to a crypto scheme now under FBI scrutiny. Care to explain, Nico? Mom's voice cut through, barely audible. Nico, what have you done? He stumbled over his words, his composure crumbling like dust. It was an investment, Lucia. I was going to triple it, pay it back. I stepped closer, my voice a whisper of steel. You mean the $90,000 you stole? or the $50,000 you drained from Mom's savings last year, saying it was for her trust? Sophia gasped, her eyes wide. You said that went to her care. I turned to her, my stare unrelenting. And the $30,000 you diverted to your boutique, Sophia, or the $15,000 loan Uncle Ray took for his boat? The room was a mausoleum of secrets, every face a gravestone. Then Clara stood, her voice sharp. I have evidence, texts, emails, transfers. Nico forged my name too. I'll give you everything if you keep me out of it. Nico lunged, his face twisted with desperation. You backstabber? I stepped between them, my voice I scold. Lay a hand on her and I call the DA right now. I laid out the terms like a judge delivering a verdict. They'd sign confessions, repay every cent with interest, surrender assets bought with stolen funds. Nico's SUV keys landed in my hand with a heavy thud. Clara's earrings followed, gleaming like shattered vows. I'd already protected Mom's house from the fraudulent loan they'd tried to sneak through, and her care was fully funded again, secured in an account only she and I could access. As they signed, their hands trembled, their lies exposed like skeletons in a floodlight. I knelt beside Mom, her fragile hand in mine. I'm so sorry, I whispered. I should have checked with the hospital myself. Her eyes, wet with tears, held no judgment. You trusted him, Lucia. We all did. Trust is a fortress, but betrayal is a shadow that slips through the cracks. I rebuilt that fortress for Mom, brick by brick, but it'll never feel the same. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you loved, someone you thought was family? Share in the comments. How did you piece yourself back together? Because I'm still figuring out how to hold my fragments in place.